All right, welcome back. On what has been an incredibly busy day, we want to tell you about a rare bipartisan effort on the Hill playing out in just the last couple of hours. Democrats and Republicans called on witnesses to share their personal experiences with mysterious aerial phenomena. The witnesses, all former military or intelligence officers, describing flying objects, defying physics, and potentially threatening national security.
Do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
And where?
I know the exact locations.
Do you believe UAPs pose a potential threat to our national security?
Yes, and here's why. The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had. I think it's far beyond actually our material science that we currently possess.
As we convene here, UAP are in our airspace, but they are grossly underreported. These sightings are not rare or isolated, they are routine.
All right, joining us now are two members of Congress who were able to question those witnesses, Representative Jared Moskowitz, Democrat of Florida, and Representative Anna Paulina Luna, Republican of Florida as well. Thank you to you both for joining us this afternoon. Appreciate it. Congressman Moskowitz, I want to start with you. Representative Tim Burchett, who's on that House subcommittee with you, says he is 100% sure the federal government is covering up documents about UFOs. Do you agree?
Oh, I think Tim is right. I mean, there's definitely information that the U.S. government is keeping, not just from the American people, but from Congress. I mean, you're talking about satellite imagery, you're talking about pictures, you're talking about radar data. I mean, these pilots are interacting with these things in real time. These are legit pilots with decorated backgrounds who are coming forward with whistleblower status, testifying in hearings under oath of what they interacted with. There's some video of that. But listen, I was saying in the hearing, when a Russian jet interacts with one of the American drones and damages its propeller, we get immediate video of that. We get immediate pictures that it gets released to the American public and the world to show what happened. But when there's a UAP, we get nothing. And so the idea that we don't use the same technology to capture those events doesn't pass the smell test.
Congresswoman Luna, I want to play an exchange that you had with David Grush, a former intelligence officer in the Defense Department and a whistleblower who claims the U.S. government is in possession of, how we put it, non-human bodies and spacecraft. Let's listen to that.
In the last couple of years, have you had incidences that have caused you to be in fear for your life for addressing these issues?
Yes, personally.
So Mr. Grush went on to say, describing this retaliation that he faced as administrative terrorism. As you understand it, what happens to people, to officials who share what they know?
Well, in the instance of Grush, of which we are actively working on a bipartisan fashion to get into a SCIF to obtain the rest of the information for his testimony, but they are receiving retribution, whether it's being punished with their jobs in fear of losing their jobs, and or in the instance of Grush, as you heard, obviously something more serious. And I think that the Democrat ranking member Raskin actually mentioned a great point, that anyone who's guilty of really bullying or intentionally trying to silence and engaging in illegal acts to keep whistleblowers from bringing forward information to the American people needs to be held accountable. And so we are looking into that. But it is scary to hear that a gentleman with his background, his expertise, is in fear of his life because he's simply bringing forward information to the American people.
So let's talk about what's going to happen next, Congressman, right? Senate Majority Leader Schumer is pushing to create a commission with broad authority to declassify documents related to UAPs. Do you believe he has support in the House?
I do. And as you can see here, this is a bipartisan, nonpartisan effort. I mean, just after the hearing, a bunch of colleagues on both sides of the aisle gathered on the House floor to figure out what the next steps are. So this is not just bipartisan, it's bicameral. This is something that's been going on for a long period of time. And so, yeah, there should be next steps. We should be getting the document that Mr. Grush submitted to the Inspector General. We should be getting him in a SCIF so that we can get additional information. And the military needs to come forward, because at the end of the day, if we're wrong, and if these pilots are wrong, then the military should prove why they're wrong and how, rather than just not answering the question. The American people deserve disclosure. The time has come.
Congresswoman, is there a particular piece of evidence that you want to see that you believe is being withheld by the government?
I would very much so like to show the rest of my colleagues the information that I was shown at Eglin Air Force Base, of which we were initially stonewalled and prevented from seeing. I think that that alone would really change the national discussion. But I also think that for those members that are investigating, how dare the Pentagon, how dare the military tell members of Oversight that we have no classification to look into this when it comes to the national defense and protecting the American people. So they need to stop playing games.
All right, Congressman Jared Moskowitz, thank you. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, thank you as well. Some more